Naturally Glam fam, it's your girl Jana, and this video is for the iGrind Vlogust Vlog Days of Summer Challenge, where I'm trying to put up a video every day for the month of August. This video is for day 12, and the video, as the title says, is about overcoming your butts because no one really cares about your butts. And I know it sounds funny, and of course it sounds funny on purpose, but really I hear a lot of buts from people who are trying to grow their brand. They're trying to grow a platform, and unfortunately no one wants to see or hear about your butts. People want what they want. They want what it is they feel like that they're going to gain from what you have to offer. And if all you have to offer is a bunch of butts, that is not going to help you build your brand and build your platform. The first but is, but that's not my personality. Second but is, but I don't have the time. And then the third but is, but I don't have the resources to do what I want to really do. I want to share a few tips that I think will help you get past those buts and get what it is you want, which is a large platform or a dedicated and supportive platform, no matter the size. And you want that because you want a group of people who are going to stand behind you and support what it is you have to offer. So number one is, but that's not my personality. That's not me. And I hear that a lot. I understand everybody's personalities are different, and everyone's personality has pros and cons. You know, like being an introvert, it has its pros and its cons, just like being an extrovert has its pros and its cons. And so what I encourage you to do is understand your personality first. A great book to read, if you haven't read it before, is Personality Plus. It kind of goes over just some general personality types that most everyone falls into somewhat. And that way you can understand your personality as well as the personalities of others. And then you use that skill to overcome the areas of improvement in your own personality, and also deal with other people's personalities that are different than yours. It's definitely not something everybody has. Everybody doesn't just know how to deal with everybody. And if you ever meet somebody who does, and who does it well, oftentimes it's something they've learned over the years. So I encourage you to do the same. But most importantly, it's just learning your own personality. Where are areas that you can improve? And then teaching yourself the skill to overcome that challenge. For example, I use myself. Most people don't know this about me, but I am totally an introvert. My mom and dad are both extroverts. And I was the only child, so I didn't really have to communicate with a whole lot of people all the time. And so when we would go out and there would be other kids, especially there were other kids my age, my parents could not understand, especially my mom. She could not understand why I didn't want to talk to people, why I wasn't just going up to other kids and just engaging with them. I would just kind of just stick with them and just kind of hang out and watch. And she didn't understand that. It was beyond her that she and my dad could possibly have a child that was not an extrovert. And so she thought I was just being, a spoiled only child, and she was having no parts of that. My mom's mission in life was to make sure that I was not a spoiled brat, and she did everything that she could. If she thought anything was being bratty, she would make sure that I was not being like that. And so she pushed me to go and talk to people, introduce myself, ask them about themselves, and engage with people. And while I hated it as a kid, and once I got older, I think my dad finally convinced her, hey, maybe girl's just an introvert. And that's just who she is. And my mom finally got it, and she stopped really pushing me. But by then, I already kind of had it in my mind that You have to engage with people, whether you want to or not. You have to engage with people because you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to be your friend. You never know who you can learn something from. And so you have to step out of your own way. And I'm glad that she pushed me to do that, even though it was for a totally different reason. But today, that's a skill that I've learned from that personality to be able to do that. On the flip side, a person that's very talkative all the time, that they can learn a lot from somebody who's introverted, because most introverts, is not that we don't have anything to say. We just internalize our thoughts. We don't verbalize them all the time. And so you can learn that sometimes you don't always need to verbalize your thoughts. Sometimes you need to internalize them and think about them before you say them. And so there's a advantage to different personality types, and it's to your advantage to learn what you can from those different personalities that make those personalities great, and try to incorporate that in yourself. When you see someone else that they're doing certain things, that's just who they are and that's just their personality. It may not be, but they have clearly taken the time to invest in themselves, learn those skills, and put them to use. But number 2 is, but I don't have the time. And that is probably the most used and least real excuse or but that's out there. I don't have the time. Everyone has the time. You just have to prioritize the time that you do have and make the best use of it. And oftentimes it's just a matter of taking some time to plan. And everybody, again, that's not your personality. You're just spontaneous. But if you don't have a lot of time to just be spontaneous and still be able to engage with your audience or with your customer, then you're not going to be able to just up and do it. You're going to have to plan. And so take some time to plan, and then when you do that, it makes the actual execution rather easy because you already know exactly what you're going to do, and then it doesn't take much time. One thing that I hear a lot of people say they don't have time for is social media. And I think it's all about what you use social media for. If you're using social media to air your dirty laundry, gossip, and such, yeah, you may not have time for that. I really don't have a lot of time for that either. But I make time to use social media to promote and market my brand and to engage with my audience. That I will always have time for, because if I want them to spend their time with me, then I need to invest time in them. So I plan out what I'm going to talk about on social media. I take time, even if you plan it out a month ahead, just come up with a calendar or what different things you want to talk about and have an idea. It makes it a lot easier, because honestly, to post on social media doesn't take a lot of time. The same amount of time it takes you to send a text message, you can post a picture to Instagram. It doesn't take a lot of time. You can type out 8 tweets that you want to send throughout the week. Just type them out, and then you can use the service like Hootsuite. You can schedule all of those out. It does not take that long. 20-30 minutes. Like, if you just focus on that, it doesn't take that long. If you tell yourself you don't have the time, then that's the wrong attitude. Tell yourself, let me find some time to make a plan. Also, people don't remember, they forget stuff. And I don't understand how anybody can forget anything if you have one of these. If you have a phone and you tell me, oh, I forgot about that Twitter chat. Oh, girl, I forgot about that event. I don't understand how you can forget. You have this. You never have to remember anything. You just put it in your calendar. That's how I keep up with things. I don't remember everything. I put it in here. Even if it's just an alarm that goes off that says, do X, Y, Z. This is my brain. I don't rely on this brain. I rely on this to remind me to do certain things at certain times. So use that to your advantage. Take advantage of technology and use it to your advantage to get things done. And the third but is, I don't have the resources. You may not have the resources, and as a person just starting out, most of us don't. If you're a blogger, you may not have the most expensive camera. You may just have your phone. As a product maker, you may not have the fanciest bottling or fanciest label paper or You may not have a graphic designer you have your own personalized fonts that they've designed for you. Like, you may not have all of the grandiose things, but that doesn't mean what you're doing cannot be of the utmost excellence. People want to see that you are doing the best you can with what you have. They don't want to see that you could do better and you just aren't, because you feel like, well, if can't do blah blah blah, I'm just gonna do whatever. And people can tell when you just put something out. People can tell when you just typed up something on a computer and printed out labels and stuck it on side of a jar. And quite frankly, I have seen brands, small businesses, they send out a product and the jar, the label looks super cheesy. It looks super cheap. Like they took the cheapest route that they could. But then you want to charge me $20 or $30 for this little teeny jar of shea butter. And I'm like, no ma'am. I can't do it, because you didn't want to invest. You want me to invest in your brand by purchasing it, but you didn't even invest in getting a nice label and making sure the label was nice and the design was nice. If you don't know, if you're new, like, don't just type up something and just think, oh, this looks okay. All the letters are there. Like, no, Google. Make Google your friend. Google other brands and see what is it that they're doing, and it looks really good. Get some ideas. No, don't copy what somebody else is doing, but use those successful brands to help you set a standard for yourself, because most successful brands, they are doing that. They're doing the most of what they have, and you've seen brands progress over the years. Like, I use Allocate Naturals as an example. You can see how Rochelle's brand has progressed over time. You know, how her labels used to look versus how they look now that they're in Target. Like, there's a difference, but from beginning, they still look great. You see what I'm saying? That was great until you saw what was better. And then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, these labels are really, really nice. But you didn't think the other labels were cheap and cheesy. But when you see something and you're like, oh yeah, that was cheap and cheesy, that's not going to work. You know, people will work with you if they feel like you're giving them your best. And you should always lead with excellence. Always, always, always. So I hope that these 3 tips on these 3 butts will help you get off your butt. Get off of your butts and get out there and make something great happen. And people will support you. At the end of the day, remember, it's not about you. You are not selling to you. You're not promoting to you. You're promoting to everyone else. And the customer is not always right, but the customer is always the customer. In other words, those are the people that you're going to need to make your brand successful. So you have to do whatever it is, whatever it takes to make them your customer, to make them want to support you. So get off your butts and make it happen. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.